Podcast number 2. Lunar wind. Wave spell of the dragon, second day. We are supported by the crystalline storm. We're guided by the magician, who's incidentally the lunar magician. Note to self, ... The analog partner, also referred to as the complement, Earth, the red Earth, synchronization, navigation, and the antipode positions, the yellow human, free will, wisdom, influencing. Spirit, breath. What is the third component? Hello. Communication, of course. How could I forget? In the sun wave spell, that wind is electric and it energizes me. One of the reasons I like talking so much, or not talking. I do like talking. I do like communicating. I like listening too. And since that the sun influences my life as a magnetic sun, I am guided by the sun, born in the wave spell of the sun, heading the wave spell of the sun, magnetizing the sun, attracting all things sun, which is all about life. So I love talking about life, all elements of life, but particularly anything containing or pertaining to human life. Spirit. So today's lunar. I've been since yesterday contemplating the lunar tone. I'm mentally paralleling my wave, the wave of the yellow sun, and the wave of the red dragon, which we're in now. They are identical, except the wave spell of the sun would be like one tone ahead. In the sun wave spell, the dragon is lunar. In the lunar, in the dragon wave spell, it's magnetic. Tone 1. Then wind is in the dragon wave spell, which we have today. Tone 2. In the sun wave spell, it's tone 3. So if I weave those together, the energy of today is lunar. My inherent purpose energy is electric. But the lunar dragon, I recognized yesterday that from a perspective of life, my life experience, having the dragon sit in the lunar position, polarizing, and the dragon is at the same time my occult power, my support, my medicine, essential in the functioning of myself, birthing, newness, birthing life, nurturing life, primal trust, being. The dragon stands for birth, nurture, and being itself. When that lands in the lunar position, where it polarizes and challenges, it also stabilizes. Of course, polarities stabilize. Male, female, black, white, up, down. This reality doesn't work without the polarities. And yet, when I don't have that integrated, when I'm somehow fighting my polarity or separating them completely, I seem to create a problem for myself. So where do I do that? If as the sun, I may have a need to be truthful and authentic, but the dragon in me notices or has a need to be nurturing. I need to reconcile that. When is a truth to be spoken and when not? When do I nurture? Where's compromise? We've just come through the wave spell of the yellow star, which is the last wave spell of the Tzolk'in spin. Harmony. Well, it doesn't exactly where do we go here? It doesn't exactly say state, harmony, elegance, beauty, art. The reason we speak of harmony when it comes to the stars, because it's in the dragon wave spell, which we call the mother wave spell, the first wave spell. It's on position 8, which is galactic, which stands for harmony. And has a lot to do with being harmonious within ourselves. And to the degree that we are integrated and harmonious, or all our elements, body cells working together, our life will reflect that. Autoimmune disease, cancers, all that kind of stuff is the body cells turning against the body. There's a stark disharmony. It's a stark problem, to the point that the body terminates its own life. What does it say? When we compromise more than is healthy. I mean, this is such a deep topic. I don't want to go there right now but to contemplate that, the power of the Tzolk'in, to every 20 days we're in touch with a star who is the complement of blue monkey, who is the analog power of the dragon. And we're in the dragon wave spell now. I should talk about the now, right? I would like to talk about the now. What is? Lunar wind, polarities. Polarities when they're not unified. The polarities need to be unified by the dragon, the magnetic tone. It unifies. The dragon unifies the polarity of the wind, and the polarity of the wind in this wave stabilizes the dragon. It stabilizes the entire journey of the dragon, like two legs working together. They stabilize each other. Elegance, beauty, art. That's the star. Beautify. Beauty, the importance of beauty. Time and time Again, I notice how this world, my filter of this world, my filter of this time, and my filter will cause me to connect with anything that affirms my filters. Oh, fuck, man. So I realize I don't need to talk about anything in the world, because there's nothing in the world. I mean, there's everything in the world. The world I can speak about is the world as it is presented to me, or as I present it to myself through my filters, as I am filtering it. I can now stand here and say I'm a victim to my filters. Or I can say I've created those filters. And therein lies another polarity. Both exist. I could soften that statement by removing the word victim. It's a bit of a trigger word, for me at least. I could be influenced by the filters beyond my conscious willing. Today, we have the wind. The antipode position of the wind is the human, and the yellow human, free will, influence, wisdom. Oh. So, if I, as the sun, I understand, or I believe, I, Tatiana, believe I myself can and must become unconscious at times to understand what I am not. And at the same time, the sun is everything. It's an understanding of I am that I am, and that, but I am not. I am an aspect of the divine, not necessarily the totality. Well, who is I? Who is speaking? Who is I? Who is I identified with? Which I is I identified with? This body, this mind, this life experience, predominantly, if I refer to I as Tatiana, but this I as Tatiana has access to much larger realities that cannot be necessarily named as Tatiana. Living here my life as Tatiana, and difficulties Tatiana experiences, they are not mitigated, or they cannot be spiritual bypassing comes to mind. The Tolkien is grounding in our physical selves, and yet transcending it, transcending our humanity, the cosmic human, which is the last seal in the wave spell of the yellow sun. The 13th tone stands for transcendence, endurance, transcendence, and presence. So transcending our humanity, yes, but we do not transcend it, of course, by getting away from it. Dying isn't transcending, but transcending is dying, but it is living. Life and death are, again, polar opposites that absolutely belong together. And with those two, I can see it. And this beautiful information to the lunar tone, saying the polarities, polarized positions actually work in cooperative alliance. in cooperation, all polarities serve as backgrounds for full appreciation of one another and the whole. Examine your attractions and aversions. Discover the loom of reality that is intricately woven in relationship. The polarities are in relationship together with each other, like male and female. I may be meandering a lot in this message, but this resistances we bring in, friction, our whole male-female connection, sexuality, sexual attraction. Sexuality is our life force, and I'm talking about it in a broad sense. There's friction in it, there's tension in it, it's necessary. When electrical, within atoms, within life force, there's tension. It cannot be avoided. If we're avoiding tension, we just go limp. The body's muscle tonus is a balance between tension and activity and relaxation and, well, the opposite of tension, relaxation. An opposite of activity is not inertness, but non-activity. I don't know the word right now, but in this meandering, I come upon this very, very personal topic of the wish not to live, the death wish, Thanatos. What does Thanatos have to do with this? The death wish? I'm not going to Google that now, but he has something. The concept or the entity has something to do with that. But there is this dark polarity where, for me, I come to the edge of what I am not. I come to an experience. I am experiencing time and time again where my own life force is either like a volcano, incredibly, on some level, incredibly destructive to elements of life, but it's also life-giving. Absolutely life-giving. Dragon, like a volcano. Yeah, the cliff looks like a volcano. Oh my goodness. Yeah, of course. Oh, and the lava that comes out is like being birthed, rock being birthed, life being birthed. The ashes is so nurturing for the earth in the vicinity of wherever it lands. And sometimes my life force is like, it just can't express something this body self has learned early in childhood. My body remembers how the life in me is bursting and I am not challenged. I can't move. No one is around. I experience that right now as threatening, or I want to die, and yet I recognize, even as I speak, how sometimes I do realize that this excessive inertness in my years from birth to maybe school days or something, where I was often just completely under-challenged because nobody was around. I lay around all day. There was a time when nobody had time to deal with me during the day. My parents were working, and the guy who was supposed to look after me was also cooking gardener. He didn't have time. When I was 1 year old or 2 years old, when I was, I was very late with some of my developments, physical and speech. But it can't have been a mistake. So it caused perhaps a form of, the world bridger is my chronopsy, whatever, and it's the lunar world bridger of all things. So to understand that dying is just bridging into a different reality, and there are very, very many ways of dying. We're constantly dying, physically, and being reborn. In the wave spell of the red dragon, death, the world bridger, sits on tone 6, rhythmic. So there's constant death and life, it's a dance, rhythmic. In the wave spell of the sun, it's resonant. So it's the channel, which is the same guide as the lunar world bridger. It, in my early formative years, forced me inward, because the only world there was to engage with for myself was the inner world, and I'm essentially deeply thankful for that. The inner wealth I have cultivated as a result of not being distracted by the outer world is enormous. Yet the outer world requires, I feel sometimes a little handicapped in the outer world, because certain mechanisms of empowerment were learned very wrong, often in my early years, or when so-called mistakes, and children don't make mistakes, whatever. They don't make mistakes. They learn, and then things work, or they don't. They break something, it's not a mistake. They just are kids. And when your normal being a child gets punished, well, we learn some really screwed up lessons. Or when there's no appropriate guidance, we learn very screwed up lessons. And for me as an adult, now to deal with the ramifications of these lessons that have ingrained themselves into my being in such a way that it's as though I am afraid of the dark. In my case, I was very, very fortunate to have been locked up in a dark room several times as a very young child, when I couldn't even reach the door handles yet, and I had to face the darkness. And I realized how non-threatening it was. But human connection is the thing that I'm obviously somehow deeply scared of, because that was a lesson that really got burnt into my cells. But my cells have reproduced themselves many times, that they have passed on this memory, karmic memories, to each other somehow, seemingly, or it's in my patterns or in my mind, or it's God knows where it sits, where these memories sit that still control me. But the metaphor I wanted to use, if I'm afraid of the dark, even as an adult, I may be able to force myself to convince myself that there's nothing scary, and I move through the dark, I sit in the dark, I be in the dark, and I can override the panic that is actually rising in me. And I can override it to the point where I can't feel it. And then I can tell myself, hey, I'm over it. But I'm not. And for me personally, I struggle with that mechanism because it feels as if I trick myself and I can't see it. But like in Plato's cave, I see in the mirror, and my Chronos eye, the lunar wood bridger, is guided by the mirror, and the red dragon, whose wave spell we're in, has the mirror as its complement. So truth, the mirror reflects anything, truth or not. It reflects what is. So there is a truth in what is. Even if it reflects the lie you're telling yourself, it reflects that lie truthfully. It's a bit weird. My mind can't really comprehend what I'm saying, but I think I understand what I'm saying on some other level. So I can look into my life and I can look at some of my actions and some of what I'm doing and some of what I'm not doing, and I can see the reflection of something that I'm not seeing the object of. It's like I can look into two mirrors and see my backside. But I need two mirrors to do that, to see myself comfortably. For example, the back of my head. I can turn my head around and somehow see my backside in a single mirror, but I can never see the back of my head in a single mirror, so I need a double mirror to see the back of my head. And then I can see something that in reality, base reality, whatever, but this 3D reality, I cannot see ever directly. And that's how that feels for me. Sometimes I see things in my actions and in my life. I don't like what I see, or I don't understand what I'm seeing, but it feels to me as if I can't see what's causing that. It's like I see a shadow, but I don't see the object that stands between the source of light and the ground or wherever the shadow is cast onto. I don't know that object. I am that object, and I can't see myself. And yeah, then I should be able to ask someone who's close to me and say, this is what I'm noticing about myself. Do you understand what's causing that? Now I need to find people who understand the world the way I understand it. Otherwise, their explanations will not work. It's like if I have a pain in my body and I ask some people, like, what do you think this could be? Presently, I have a pain in my right knee. Someone might say, go to the doctor, have it scanned, have it and then maybe if I do that, the doctor will say, well, there is whatever, there's a tear in your meniscus or whatever in your tendons, or there's this or there's that, and this is the cure. Or for me, that's not the answer I'm looking for. This is describing my symptoms. It's not describing the cause. I need to understand, like, what? Am I not taking my next steps? I'm afraid to move forward. Am I not moving forward? Am I afraid? Am I trying to forcefully move forward and it's trying to break me? Like as in braking in a car, speed brake, hitting the brakes. That's breaking me. Am I breaking myself? Am I braking because I'm not moving? Is one foot standing on the accelerator and one foot on the brake? Am I causing such, again, the polarity, lunar tone? Am I tearing apart my polarities and tearing myself apart instead of actually understanding the alliance, I would need to talk through this with someone who has a grasp of this stuff, and maybe me, or someone who can hear me talk it through till I come to the realization of what's going on. And the fact that I don't do it, despite the fact that maybe I do have people in my life that I can do that with, that brings me to the point of, am I keeping myself in isolation? Lunar wind in the wave spell of the dragon. Nurturance, being, birthing, mother energy. What in me needs nurturing? What in me needs a different perspective or a different understanding to either relax or move forward, or to, I need a different perspective on what is. And the point I want to get to is that I'm noticing a pattern of self-isolation, a pattern of not reaching out, a pattern of it's safer if I don't. Which brings me right round to Tatiana at age 2, Tatiana at age 3, Tatiana at age 4. Don't trust nobody. For so many reasons. I was even told that many times because, of course, in East Germany, you shouldn't have trusted anyone because you never know who's informing who about what. And kids often speak a truth that, is dangerous. So, and here I notice myself going again back to programming, core programming. But is it right or is it wrong to do that? Lunar tone is asking me, right or wrong. I'm splitting the world into right and wrong instead of accepting what is. But there are times when it's appropriate to make that distinction, and it's important to make that distinction, and it's important to choose. And maybe I'm often not choosing because I don't really. If there's a one in me that says yes to the same thing that another one in me says no, one leg says go forward, the other leg says no. Yeah, I relate. One part in me says I want to connect, I want to open up, I want to connect deeply. Another part in me says no, you don't. You do not want to do that. It is uber dangerous to do that. And a part of me has learned that, and that part is still active somewhere, and it causes friction when I'm trying to move forward, and it's trying to block me or break me. And it will break me to break me, because it will do everything it needs to do to keep me safe. And if it thinks moving forward or moving at all is dangerous, it can cause me a break in my motion apparatus so that I don't move. It's a very powerful mechanism. And my conscious mind can think, but wait, what's going on? Na. On the other hand, if I then have an inability to move, I can relax. I don't have to deal with this fight in me to move or not move, because now I can't move. It's a cop-out. It's a perfect solution. Yeah, all right. We will not solve the dilemma this day. We have just communicated about it. And I shall conclude the session with the help of my 2 friends here today, as the lunar wind is helped by the earth. Navigation, synchronization, and evolution. You need to trust evolution. The wizard who guides today, timelessness, enchanting receptivity. I have identified something I don't want to call an issue, but an issue. The wizard can guide it with receptivity. My free will says I choose revolution. I choose evolution. Revolution. I choose. What do I choose? I was going to say something else. Revolution just came out. I choose healing. I choose resolution. That's the word I wanted. Which we allow the earth to navigate, evolve, and synchronize us with and to. In the storm, the occult power of the storm, self-generation, which is obviously my patterns that patterns that are my security patterns are also self-generating. They are self-activating. I do not have to activate them. They are doing that by themselves to protect me. There needs to be, I feel, influence, wisdom. Wisdom, the yellow human, needs to acknowledge, or wisdom needs to link with evolution. Which of these patterns are serving my evolution, my being, the dragon, and my new birth, my rebirth? Which patterns need to die, need to be let go of? Which parts of me can be recycled or released into their own new births, with me or away from me? What can be catalyzed, energized into a new level of self-generation to serve evolution of my spirit-human connection, my breath, my life force? I need to look at this wave spell. Life force sits on the tone 5 in this wave spell. Very, very important position. Radiance, empowerment and command, my life force, survival and instincts. So if my instincts for survival are in command and they're actually blocking me because they're breaking me, they're empowering what exactly? But if that isn't solved, I can command and force matters, which will be equally matched by my life, my instinct for survival. And if my instinct for survival says you are not going to move, because movement is extremely dangerous, no matter how much I force, I will break myself in the process. So this needs to be solved in a different way, through understanding human, through blue hand on tone 7, resonant, channel, inspire, attunement, healing, knowing, accomplishment, blue hand on tone 7. So, and there's the human again, and there's the earth again. You see, it all aligns perfectly. And there's the storm and the wizard. Oh my God, it's exactly today's signature, but just umgewürfelt auf Deutsch. How do we say that in English? It's just been rolled the dice differently. It's the exact same, except there's no wind in this. The wind has been switched by the hand, but the 4 partners have switched places left to right and up and down. So where today the wizard is leading, it has switched down to the occult position. And where the occult storm today has switched up to the leading position, the antipode position of the yellow human today switches across to the analog position, the complement, and the red earth complement of today is switched over to the antipode position. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. So what does it mean in practical terms? Understanding and healing has to happen. A rewrite of the code has to happen. An upgrade has to happen. We're guided then by the storm. It will guide, and the occult power would be the timelessness. But I need to. The blue hand is completely linked to yellow human. It is, who is the analog today, free will, antipode today, free will, influence, wisdom. It's the best friend of wisdom. Is this knowing, healing, and accomplishing healing through knowing. Yes, understanding and knowing it, but it needs to be lived, not forced, not just wanted, not egoic, not the ego. Free will. I will true healing. I will true transformation. I will true acceptance. And I will true alignment and attunement with spirit, with my higher, lower selves. I don't even separate. I have those polarities in me are integrated. At least so I think. So we channel Red Dragon wave spell. It ends in the Skywalker. So where the yellow sun ends in the cosmic human, in the dragon wave spell, human is crystalline. I'm not going there right now. And the monkey is very important. And that dog there is very important. Love on tone 10. It's planetary in this wave spell. So we have to manifest through love and loyalty. I want to be loyal to life and evolution rather than safety and old patterns. But lovingly release so that the monkey, the inner child, can be free and reborn again and again and again into newness. Tone 11 in this wave spell, tone 12 in the wave spell of the sun, crystalline. All children can play together. All children have been through all times can play together. We can teach each other, and we make up that yellow human, that cosmic human. But that cosmic human can evolve into the expression of its own free will, my own free will. So I have to assert dangerous. Oh, I'm not saying that out loud. Okay, but in this wave spell, we are transcending in the Skywalker, guided by the earth. Very beautiful. And there's the death, the world bridger, its analog partner. And its antipode is the abundance, dream, intuition. Okay, I can go on surfing like this now. I will skip it and end this channel. Thanks for listening. Ciao.